these wetlands for the construction of roads, flyways, temples, and residential complexes is another huge threat, destroying this fragile ecosystem. The last century has witnessed an unprecedented loss of diversity harbored by these ecosystems, which are now either lost or highly threatened. There is an immediate need to change the widely held perception of wetlands being a wasteland and understand the ecological importance of wetlands. Urban development, mismanagement, and misconduct have led to loss of wetlands. If many of the wetlands are threatened due to encroachment and human pressure, several are equally threatened due to mismanagement and negligence by the concerned authority. Kaladio Ghana, earlier known as the Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, is a prime example of this kind. With almost 350 species of birds recorded, Kaladio National Park is the only wetland in India covered by two international conventions, the Ramsar and the UNESCO World Heritage Convention. A bird's watcher's paradise, it is most spectacular at the height of season. But over the last few years, the park has been battling with an acute water shortage. Apart from rainfall, a major share of park water is derived from Ajinban, a temporary reservoir via the Deccan Canal. The supply is irregular and subject to the bund being full. Only when the demand for water of the surrounding villages has been met, the water is released from the bund for the sanctuary. Continuous drought for the past few years with irregular supply of water from the bunds and falling water table. The park has been facing severe water crisis. Apart from the water shortage, the destructive nature of livestock and grazing on natural systems is apparent. Based on this, ban on grazing was imposed in this sanctuary too. However, the sanctuary did not receive the desired effect. A few weed species were gradually taking over, reducing the fish populations and nesting. The canals were clogged and the marshes were filling up with weeds. These weeds are highly invasive and rapidly took over the sanctuary. The wild ungulates in the park do not eat these weeds. All these problems have affected the ecosystem of the park badly. This can be witnessed from the steep decline in number of migratory birds. Once filled with cacophony sound of birds, today many parts of the sanctuary lie dry and desolated, a wetland slowly converting into woodland. Similar is the fate of the largest wetland in Asia. Over 1,000 kilometers up, north of Bharatpur is the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Here lies the most enchanting and the largest freshwater lake in Asia, the Vular Lake. Owing to its location in the western extremities of Himalayas, thousands of migratory birds from Siberia and Central Asia travel to the valley to escape the extreme cold back home. Vular also plays an important ecological role as a huge absorption basin for the annual floodwaters, maintaining a balance in the hydrographic system of the valley. Once known for its crystal clear water, the lake is today undergoing a slow death, infested with life sucking weeds and pollutants, a result of years of abuse and disregard. Originally spread over an area of 273 square kilometer, the lake is today squeezed to mere 70 square kilometer of green patch. This is mainly due to conversion of lake's area for agriculture and plantation. Massive encroachment, siltation, and interventions to improve the drainage of water in the upstream region for flood mitigation has drastically reduced the lake's ability to regulate water flow. In the 1980s, Bandipur district in northern Kashmir faced several floods emanating from the lake. Prioritizing people over nature, the government decided to plant trees to control the overflow of water from the lake. The flood subsided, but with it shrunk the size of the lake. Fishery, an important source of livelihood for the thousands of local inhabitants around the lake, is also at stake. Decline in resource base and limited opportunities for livelihood diversification have led to poverty and reduced quality of life around the lake and its catchments. Numbers of migratory birds that have frequently visited the lake have also reduced drastically. Having Ramsar recognition due to its rich biodiversity and socio-economic value, Vellore requires mandatory conservation from the state and central governments. Efforts are now being made to restore the Vellore to its original glory under the central government's flagship Wetland Conservation Program. The restoration process will cost a huge ecological price. About 20 lakh willow greens will have to be chopped off to get back the blue. Whenever one plays with the environment, both ways the loss is always ours. The Vellore restoration project can prove to be a major step for preserving large ecosystems. With hundreds of our wetlands today succumbing to human pressure, the need is to generate awareness among the masses and policymakers about the importance of wetlands and its economic values. A recent global study on wetlands reveals that the Asian wetlands have the highest economic value at an estimated $1.8 billion every year. Restoring the ecological equilibrium of this valuable ecosystem is vital for mankind and survival of all living beings. To ensure protection of these natural treasures, the Government of India notified the Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules in December 2010. The rules provide legal protection by prohibiting various degrading factors such as reclamation, creation of new industries, dumping and discharge of soiled or untreated waste in the wetland. Withdrawing and interruption of water sources and harvesting of aquatic resources can be carried out only with prior permission from the concerned authority. Apart from this, the National Wetland Atlas launched by the Ministry of Environment and Forest in June 2011 provides detailed mapping of the wetlands and its inventory across the nation. This will help identify wetlands that need immediate attention and put in place various protection strategies. Conservation and protection involves not only buffering wetlands from direct human pressures, but also requires the maintenance of all other important natural processes, which are directly linked in maintaining this ecosystem. Controlling soil erosion, reducing pressure on wetland resources, and changing the attitude of people in using wetlands as community sinks are integral aspects of wetland conservation. Along with making people aware of the need for conservation of wetlands, the livelihood concerns also need to be addressed. If the aspirations of people living in a small village of rural India are considered, is it justified to deny them the benefits of development only because the necessary infrastructure requires reclaiming a wetland? Is it possible to successfully integrate and balance development and conservation planning? Sustainable development is the only solution to maintain the equilibrium of the fragile ecosystems like wetland. If we are the cause of degradation of this crucial common property resource, we also has the potential to be the solution and restore the damage. Humanity owes responsibility to the environment which has long sustained us and can continue to do so only if we do not destroy it. One of the most valuable and diverse ecosystems, these wetlands need our immediate attention before it's too late. To ensure protection of wetlands from further degradation, implementation of non-encroachment policy and prevention of pollution need to be addressed urgently. With nearly 50% of India's wetland cover already lost over the last century, the time to act is now. In our ignorance, we may have destroyed the most diverse and fragile ecosystem, threatening the lives of millions. The collaborative effort by the government, civil society organizations, and local communities will go a long way, not only in restoring the balance and health of the wetland ecosystem, but also provide a new lease of life to these disappearing sponges of the earth, wetlands.